First of all, you have Ted Mullaley, Tamica's dad. Tamica Mullaley, they've both received the apology and pardon today. Their aunties, Kath Pinkerton and Yvette Harris. Where's Yvette? All right, and they will probably address you today too. Now, today we're here to remember Baby Charlie Mullaley, who was left behind by police at a crime scene when they arrested his mother, Tamica, the victim of a serious and violent attack. That's right, this young child was left behind at the scene of a crime. And what you heard today was an apology by the Attorney-General and by other ministers, the Minister for Police and also the Minister for Women, to Ted and Tamica after 9 long years. And I'd like you to actually think about that. Today, if he was still alive, Baby Charlie would be 10 years old. 10 years old. And that's 10 years of pain and grief and misery that Ted, Tamica and the entire family have had to experience. I think we have to acknowledge that this is a historic day. There has been no other pardon of this nature recorded in West Australian legal history, and the family have received an unconditional apology. And I'll let them speak for themselves, but it is a historic day. I also want to thank the Victims of Crime team and the ministerial staff and the Attorney-General staff for getting to this stage today. They did an amazing job, and it has made a difference to the family. I think also that there's still more to come. This is a great start for the family after 9 years, but there are still areas of the post-death investigations that the family are still extremely traumatised and upset about. From the police internal investigation unit that didn't follow up their complaints about how the police treated them after the incident, not even during and in the search, which was touched on by the CCC, but after the incident, they still harassed the family and made their life extremely painful and difficult. That needs to be addressed. The fact that the coroner investigated the death of Mervyn Bell, Baby Charlie's murderer, after he died in prison, but refuses to this day to investigate what happened to Baby Charlie. And the family are incredibly offended and insulted by the culturally unsafe way in which that took place. I'm going to hand over now to Ted. Let's do it to me. You happy to speak first? Just to say a few words. Ted's going to say a few words, and then we'll hear from Tamica and then Art. So, where's Minister?
No, she's here. My statement, is it written down on paper? That's okay, doesn't matter.
Come and stand next to me.
All right, well, myself personally, I was quite happy with the result. It hasn't mended everything because the whole family's still grieving, you know, and I'd just like to tell you a quite little story of his brother. He was about 4 at the time. I went home and I told him he was a pretty bird in the tree, and it grew up with a Negro child, 4 years of age. So he's got spirit there. That's my oldest grandson. Anyway, I'm quite happy with Mr. Quigley's response and everything, and pardon, and I'm happy with it. Can't say much more because I'm still.
Thank you, Ted.
I agree with what Dad said. Yeah, we're happy with the outcome of everything George said. And I just want to thank George and his team and my 2 aunties and my whole family. And you, Dad, the whole lot of, you know,
Dad wants that too.
getting justice for Charlie Boy, you know. My son is now being remembered properly how he should have been and respected by the West Australian Police. You know?
And you regain trust in the Australian Police, or is that just something that you never
I'll never have trust in them officers that night, but every police officer is different. And the way they're trying to sound like they're going to police now, a lot of Aboriginal people might be able to trust them some more once they get their shit together. Just being apologised to meant a lot, because besides them, you know, the local policeman apologising, it wasn't his doing or anything. It's been on a larger scale.
Given the cameras are there, why don't you ask the questions that way?
Sorry.
No, just trying to criticising you. They're all jumping in.
my fault, 'cause I'm
They're all set up there. So
But look this way, answer this way.
that's
Okay.
right.
Don't look at
Okay.
me.
Okay.
All right. Ask me again.
Talk to them.
Oh, the apology was really good to hear, because from the whole government and all of the police, the way they treated Dad with racism, and just the way they treated us generally over that night and that week after, the apology was excellent. It's been much appreciated, a long awaited for, but much appreciated. And I think my aunties and my dad will much agree on that, and George too. So.
And what was it like hearing those words from the police commissioner himself?
Hearing the apology and the police commissioner and the minister, is it police minister, apologise. You can tell in someone's voice if they mean something, and I think now that they heard actually the real truth of what happened 9 years ago, it's touched them, and it's good. It's good they've realised after so long, and yeah, apologise. That's all. Sorry means a lot. It might not mean a lot to them as ministers, but as a Aboriginal family and just a family and a mother, it does mean heaps.
You said it happened 9 years ago. Do you feel like this apology should have happened a long time ago?
Oh yeah, 9 years. It's been long awaited, and it's just good that they did apologise. Like we never thought that this would happen at all, because it's been so long, 9 years. You know, when someone apologises, they normally apologise straight or immediately or fairly close to the time of something happening. Well, it's been 9 years for us, so it's been long awaited, and we're grateful.
Yes,
You know,
But you've never heard an apology, have you, from those who...
No, not one of the police from that night or leading up to today. No apology at all.
And their actions on that day, on that night, were they based in bad police training, or was there something deeper to the way they treated you?
Well,
Yes.
racism is racism. Racism. That's what it come down to, and not just myself. For my dad too. Like, you know, and racism can lead up. That's elder racism as well. Not just us being Aboriginal. He was an older man, and they didn't listen to him. You know, wouldn't matter if he was a white man. They still weren't going to listen to us, the police, on that night.
Because Ted, you went.
I did, and they told me to stop ringing the below and go home, they said. Anyway, lucky I did go home because I was very unhappy at the time, you know.
It started with an earlier.
It wouldn't have happened. They told me to come back next day at 9 o'clock when the Aboriginal part come back.
But he tried to stop and arrest them too.
Yeah.
So how do you explain what happened there? Why were you actually arrested or charged? Rather?
So what did you got the party?
What did you do? What were you trying to do?
Yeah, well, I was trying to save her, honest to God, and I didn't care, you know, like me. That policeman had his knee in her back, holding her down, twisting her arm up, and she was just come out of a horrific thing, and she had a sheet wrapped around her with no clothes.
And then they arrested him and told him he was obstructing police duties.
And despite everything that the police knew had happened to Charlie, they still
Carried on.
prosecuted you and took you to court
Yeah.
and convicted you.
So that's still a bit.
Despite them knowing what happened to Charlie, they still came driving past that house all day, 2 days, 1 day, the day after they knew our baby had been hurt. They still came and they were shouting and taunting
Taunting him.
these people. And if I hadn't have been standing there watching my brother and watching these police do it, I wouldn't have believed it. I would not have believed it.
Without a
But I had to
counsellor.
run out, and I said to him, "Can you please go away? You're hurting our family." And asked them, "Leave us alone."
So
We
this
don't know
is
why, but they
this
just
is-
kept coming.
been, so the apologies for all of that there, what Auntie's saying as well. All they've now realised what we went through. Was just besides me losing Charlie Boy and trying to grieve, they were coming there taunting us. So now someone's actually listened, all the ministers, everybody, and now they've apologised, and that's all we wanted.
Can I make the
Can I
assumption?
just say one
Am I
thing?
assuming correctly though that those officers are still in the force?
They are.
They've never been punished. For
No,
for
they
this,
haven't. And
are
George is on to that.
I was going to say, are unlikely to, or
Yeah. Well, we don't know. George is onto it. He's been pushing now for 6 years. 6 years to get the 4 police officers to be dealt with.
And in terms of on the night when you were talking, does it feel like this is official? Like it's actually the police were doing the wrong thing? Does it feel good to you knowing that it's actually been said now that they did the wrong thing?
Yeah, I believe that's good. And I was just going to say one other thing. When my sister come up 2 days later, we were having an interview in the thing, and I was talking to the bloke interviewing us, the detective, and I just said with my pen, I said, "Oh, well, if it was Cable Beach, this wouldn't have happened." And he said to me, "Oh, you're playing the black card." And my sister said, "Get up and come." I said, "Well, what's going on?" She said, "I didn't know about a black card. That's the first time I heard, and I didn't know I was playing the black card."
So that's the racism,
That's
from,
the racism.
from 2 days after me losing Charlie, Dad losing
That's
his
how they
grandson,
treated me.
to how they were speaking to us still.
And what
No
would you-
compassion, no empathy.
And what would you like to see happen to these police officers?
Well, I'd like them, I don't want them to go to jail, but I'd like them to be reprimanded and made, not a show of, but made that they've got to do something or get rid of them. Because there's too many like them. Like, they're shooting and damaging black fellas all the time. And I've never had that in my life. You know, I've never been segregated.
And I think
I've
for
always
the,
been myself.
yeah, and I think for the family, the consequences are not there. And the only avenue that we had was to go to Triple C, and police investigated police, and that report just attacked us again, attacked the family, and protected the police. So there's no avenue for any families, including Aboriginal families, if they have an issue about any treatment. And I mean, this family paid the ultimate price for police not doing their duty and reacting to us immediately. Because the question we asked straight away, my sister and I, is why was Tamica arrested? She was a victim. And we never got an answer to that.
We even kept the sheet that was wrapped. She was wrapped in. The police
That's all
weren't
she had.
interested.
They weren't
All
even-
she had around her was a bloodied sheet, stripped naked. They didn't care. They didn't want any evidence. When we had Tamica in hospital in with emergency, and everywhere they said, "Look, why shouldn't you take photos of her? She's been bloodied and bashed. Shouldn't you have photos?" "Oh, no, well, not really." And my sister said, "Go and get a camera." They weren't interested.
No.
What they were interested in is how we thought, they thought that we weren't good parents or something. So they come and check the house, check the baby's clothes and the bottles and all that, making us feel that we weren't
Looking after.
Looking
looking
after our
after
baby.
them, you know?
Yeah, you know, there's a whole lot, and we're pleased we've had the opportunity to tell this story to a lot of people. We've had a massive campaign of people signing onto a petition to get this meeting happen, and the apology that has now come. It's been a very high price that this family's paid, and you know, back to the police officers, probably no price at all for them. And my brother's been dragged through court, which now has been pardoned. Should never have happened in the first place. And so we're happy today. We sat in there and listened to it, and we're pleased that they've recognised they've done the wrong thing. But there's still things for Aboriginal families in this state to build a relationship with police and know when you go to them that they are going to help you and they're not going to be racist. Unfortunately, we want that, but we know it's a long time coming. A lot of police officers out there.
What happened today has given us a lot of confidence. We spoke directly with the ministers, and they've talked to us about the changes that they've made, and that's what this says. We wanted changes for Charlie, and the changes that have been made, they are started completely, as you can see. And if that's what's happened and we believe them, then we're happy that they're on a track. And
This is for
so
Baby.
this doesn't happen, and this is Bubby's legacy now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and can I just say one more thing? The guy that come up and told us, he rang and said, don't talk to any more police in Broome, and he flew up and was there the next day. He was the detective sergeant of
Major crime.
major crime,
Bradley.
and he was unreal. He come to court nearly every day, and he supported us all the way through. And I think he got demoted for that. I think he did. No, I think he did.
Well, I think he did, but the
They
thing
sent
is,
him away down the
it
bush.
hit him really hard. But when we had the issue with the Broome police and we said we're not talking to them anymore, they switched it to the major crime, and the major crime detective was fantastic and supported us right through the court, which we had to sit and listen throughout that court. If you do look at that case, you will see all the opportunities that they could have actually located Charlie Boy, and it wasn't until 15 hours later that he was only located because my brother's worker saw the car. So there was no alert for him at all, and it's just heartbreaking that they did nothing. Yep.
Yeah, I'll wrap it up. That's very good. I'm happy still with the outcome.
So we're just not going to stop here. This is fantastic. It's a massive milestone. We totally acknowledge the significance of it. But like I was saying to the ministers in there, that CCC report still reports him as being a drunk. He hasn't drunk in 30 odd years. And they said, no, he was intoxicated. That's why we didn't take. That's still on a CCC report. But what's wrong with that? If he was intoxicated, Mr. Policeman, why didn't you take a breathalyzer and arrest him? You let him drive to kill somebody?
Yeah.
Second, those things are all sitting there. They're not going to go away. We're going to finally get that CCC report changed and looked at and recorded exactly as it happened. And that's our next battle, and this is a massive milestone for us.
And it's not for us, it's for everybody.
It's for everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Can you just say what's next?
Okay, I'll do it.
All right, you do that.
Marty, so